Open up your mind to the way, the conscious way podcast with me, Sifu Boggy. Sifu means guide, muse, someone who points you along the way, who guides you on your path. Boggy is my martial art name, my spiritual name, and my healing name, and it means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. And for the last 39 years, I have been studying the Taoist arts. The Tao means the way, the path, the balance. And I've been studying techniques and skills like Tai Chi, Qigong, Tit Ta, Tui Na, Chinese massage, acupressure, reflexology, Chinese herbs, Chinese medicine, and many other different Eastern techniques to help me balance my very own personal way, path, or Tao. And how do I help others? Well, I help others by finding their own personal way, path, and Tao. Especially, I help people with stress and anxiety, with chronic pain like fibromyalgia, ME, MS. I help them reduce that pain, help them reduce that stress and anxiety. I also help healers, coaches, light workers to supercharge themselves and ensure they never burn out. So that's what I do, and that's what I am. What's this show all about? Well, this one is Sit Down with Sifu on a Saturday. Hello, Saturday. And this episode is all about the Tao of the Wu Qi. What is that, I hear you say? Well, in Eastern art, especially in Eastern philosophy, there is a big thing about the circle. You see lots of, both in China and in Japan, them drawing the circle. And there's a big thing about it, that, you know, being able to draw a circle freehand, smoothly and perfectly, is a very admirable thing. Well, the circle is the Wu Qi, and Wu Qi means unlimited possibilities. Everything is open. All opportunities are there for the taking. Now, there's many things with the Wu Qi, and going into something else called the Wu Wei. But let's focus on the Wu Qi for now. So, as I said, as artwork, it's a circle. It's seen as a circle, the first circle of creation. But that circle in later information is actually a sphere, because everything is multidimensional. Everything, you know, when they were drawing these symbols and they were writing things down, they were, especially in the Chinese language, both Mandarin and Cantonese and Japanese language as well, they're all about descriptions. They're describing things to you. They're writing down a concept, an idea. And so the circle is actually a spherical object. It's actually multidimensional. It's more than just a 2D representation. And the circle means everything that encompasses everything. So the circle actually represents the universe itself, is that everything within it. And so the Wu Qi is the unlimited possibilities, the unlimited potential of anything. Anything you can do, anything that can become, anything that can be. So within the circle itself, it's showing any and all possibilities. It's showing the limitlessness of the universe itself in a very interesting way. And the whole thing of unlimited potential is that all is possible. Everything is achievable. Now, there's even, now surprise, there's a Qigong for that. There is a standing Qigong, or Jianzhong, called Wu Qi standing. And the whole concept, the whole idea, is that from this standing position, another way of saying it, everything is achievable. You can move into any other position, or you can move into anything. So standing positions are very much used within martial arts, and so it's that ready stance, that ready position. Now there are very there are very classical ones, like in boxing, with your hands up and your jukes up, putting up your jukes, is an old British term, putting up your fists, putting up the jukes, your left or right juke. And it was known as, it being that ready position, ready for anything. Now, ironically, the Wu Chi position is actually your hands by your side, but with your elbows slightly pointing outwards, so your armpits are open. The hands are relaxed; they're not tensed. They're dead straight, but they're not clenched. They're somewhere in between. The arms are not locked, but they're not bent. They're somewhere in between. So the elbows are slightly open. The knees are not locked, and they're not straight. They're not. Well, they're not straight, locked, and they're not totally bent. They're somewhere in between. The knees are slightly bent, and the whole body is in this open position. That it is neither fully open, or fully closed. It's somewhere in between. Now, martially, this allows you to move and readjust to any position. For the healers, because remember, within what I've been saying, within Taoist philosophy, you have the 3 M's, the medical, martial, meditation. Everything is interlinked. So every concept, every idea, every qigong, it has a martial side, a medical side, and a spiritual side or meditational side. It can always, everything is something else. Everything can be interlinked with everything. That is very much the Tao, the way, the path, the balance. It's very much this interlocking, interlinking concept and idea. So the Wu Chi is everything and everyone, and every possibility that can happen. And so, martially, like I say, it's a ready position, it's a ready stance. But that ready stance is also within healing. So a doctor or patient, the healer would stand in that ready position, gathering energy in. It's actually a very subtle way of gathering energy in, and there's a system called Jianzhong, which is standing stake or stand like a tree, which the Wu Chi position is a very important position. Now, it doesn't have to be standing. There's a seated version of it. There's a sort of a squatting version of it, or in Shaolin they call wild horse dance, which is legs more than shoulder width, feet and knees pointing 45 degrees outwards, and your wild horse high or wild horse low. Wild horse high is that your thighs are, your legs are slightly bent still, so the thighs are quite high. They're not totally locked. You're not standing up in that wild horse stance, but you're a little bit low. And then there's wild horse low, where your thighs are almost at 90 degrees, so your knees are almost totally bent, and it's like you're in that squatting position, sort of wild horse, that wide shoulder width, but you're almost like you're seated on an invisible chair. And that's wild horse high and wild horse low. And these are all different stances that strengthen the body, that energize the body. But going back to that very basic of sorts, that basic one, the Wu Chi stance, the shoulder whip stance, knees ever so slightly bent, feet either straight ahead or 45 degrees outwards, the feet flat on the floor, but your toes are relaxed and wiggling. You put in your bum, your hips, your qua, as it's called, which opens up the energy, draws in, opens up, locks, sort of holds your legs sturdy. You tuck in your by pulling in the bum, you're tucking in your tailbone, your sacral, your coccyx. You're tucking in that bit of the spine, and it's allowing the back of the spine to be pushed out a little bit, so it becomes like, it's not dipping in, but it's not totally dipping out. It's almost curved in. Then tucking your chin in, looking straight ahead, or about 9 foot in front. So the top of the head is facing up towards heaven. Again, remember, the arms are by the side with the armpits open. So that standing position, that is Wu Chi position. Seated, just sit down onto the chair and make sure the legs are a little bit like that Shaolin style. The legs are 45 degrees outward, feet flat on the floor. The thighs are parallel to the ground, so they're flat. And then you're seated with your hands on your lap, so it keeps your armpits open, shoulders relaxed. That's seated Wu Qi. Laying Wu Qi would be literally laying down with your head relaxing, possibly on a little pillow, so you're looking straight up, arms by the side with the armpits open, and the body totally relaxed, sinking into the bed. So these are all different Wu Qi positions. And this allows you to open up to all possibilities. Because within Taoism, everything is a metaphor. Everything is a metaphor for something else. So that physical relaxing the body, like if you're laying down or standing up, you're putting your body into a little position that it can easily hold itself easily. So, you're not totally rigid, creating lots of tension. You're not slumping and not supporting yourself. You're somewhere in between. Now, within that Zhang, remember I mentioned? So Zhang is standing stake or stand like a tree, which is a Qigong system of standing exercises, still exercises. Now, what people don't realise is that within this Qigong system, everything, remember, is mindful, meditational and medical. That standing position, that Wu Qi position, the Wu Qi, is actually a very subtle but very powerful healing system. So you can actually heal your body within that system. So the Barefoot Doctor, or even a Cloud Whisperer, Dragon Shaman, would probably teach you that position. And if you when you're standing waiting for stuff, if you are in that position and you hold that position, it's actually circulating, the blood circulation, oxygen, it's circulating everything within the body, and then energetically the meridians are active, the chakras are active, the aura can expand, everything, all the different energy systems that exist, and we'll talk about them in the future, all the different energy systems that exist can fully function from that standing position. So the physical side of Wu Qi is this standing style, this standing form, this concept of having your body neither fully locked or totally slumped. You're somewhere in between. So like I said, so the legs, the knees, if you're standing, the knees are slightly bent, the elbows are slightly bent, so it's allowing the blood to flow. So the tendons are slightly stretched. Because you bend your elbows, you're stretching the tendons slightly, and bend your knees, you're stretching the tendons slightly within the body, pulling in the bum. That pulls the top half of the thighs, and that works on the legs, but it also supports your body. It's supporting your body, relaxing the shoulders, so you're not holding that shoulders. It supports the head of the neck, but it allows the flow of energy and the flow of blood and oxygen through the body. So this Wu Qi standing is about, it's, let's say, the martial side. It's preparing you for anything that comes towards you. Like if you need to suddenly move, you're in a nice, easy, neutral position. You're not leaning on one side, or so like in boxing we tend to focus on one side or the other, and same with martial arts. But the Wu Qi position is very neutral. Is that whatever comes from you, from wherever angle, you're in a position that you can react to all situations. Remember, Wu Qi means unlimited possibility. You're not limited to what you're ready for. So from the Wu Qi position, and the Wu Qi, it's a sphere. So anything can come from any angle, and as a being, the sphere can see it from any side. If its all focus was all on one side, then it would be weak at the back. But the whole idea, because it's totally a sphere, there's no corners, there's no edges, so there's no weak, in essence, there's no weak points. You can go from any angle, and its perspective is exactly the same. That's the whole idea of the Wu Qi. So that is, so you have this concept. So a healer or practitioner would stand in that Wu Qi position, And then they're going into the next level, the spiritual side. In that Wu Qi, you're actually drawing in cosmic energy. You're drawing in energy from the universe. You're drawing energy from, now they talk about obviously the universal energy, or Tao. The Tao means many things, many words. So like the universe itself, the collective consciousness, the Tao, the source, can also be called the Tao. Then you have the heaven and you have the earth. So heavenly energy rains down on you in that position, because you're whether you're standing or seated or even laying down. If you're laying down, you're fully connecting with your body to the earth. You're earthing, but your feet are flat on the floor, and there's actually a position. There's 3-1 points in the feet. So your ball of the foot, which is right at the top near your toes, the outer side of the foot and the heel of the foot is sort of like 3 pins, 3 plugs to connect into the earth energy. So you're earthing that way into the ground. And then the top of the head is drawing in the energy from the heavens. And it all comes into the center. So it comes into your dantians, which we'll talk about in another show, especially your middle dantian, or your heart level, your heart chakra. A lot of people have heard of the heart. It's sort of the center where these energies from heaven and earth, they come together and they mix together. Pardon me. So the Wu Qi position allows everything from all angles to be received, all information to be received. So the Wu Qi, so you have the physical side of Wu Qi, which is on a drawing, it's a circle or sphere. And hence within Japan and China, drawing this sphere, drawing this circle, shows, you know, your potential. There is actually a diagnostic tool using the circle. So the Sifu or sensei in Japan would get somebody to draw a circle, and they draw the circle, and the circle would represent different parts, different organs of the body. And the person drawing the circle, if the circle was misshaped, it would show the practitioner where their issues were, because them unconsciously knowing when they draw the circle, they're actually drawing their diagnosis. They're drawing what's wrong with them. That within both macrobiotics, which is sort of like Japanese Taoism, and Taoism, they believe that you know your body talks all the time. Your body, body language is actually not just about what's going on in your head, but it's actually what's going on in your body, what's going on in your health. And so that different parts of your body is actually telling people what's wrong with you. So there's a whole thing called Oriental diagnosis, which is that the face and your features actually will let the practitioner know what organs could have an issue, either in the future or right now. So that they use Oriental diagnosis in the face and the body to actually tell them what's wrong in the body, tell them what's wrong in the organs. And therefore there was this version of you draw a circle, and wherever the misshaped, if your circle was not perfect, it would indicate on a chart, it would indicate where your issues were. So the circle was very, very powerful. And of course, you put 64 circles together and you get the flower of life, which is sacred geometry itself. It's one of the foundations of sacred geometry. And the circle is, in geometry, one of the very important symbols of sorts, the circle and the sphere. So as a concept on its own, the Wu Qi, so it was, in a drawing, it was very powerful. It was about understanding things a different way. Within the physical side, the Wu Qi standing would allow you to draw energy in. It would allow you, but people have actually used the been Jamzhong Sifus that have taught students Wu Qi, and it's actually for them, it takes a long time because you have to stand in that position as many times as you can every single day. But they've actually helped their fibromyalgia. They've actually helped many illnesses. It's said, just from doing Wu Qi alone, a lot of people have dramatically helped their illnesses and conditions. So that is the that is the that is the physical side of Wu Qi. Then the meditation or spiritual side of Wu Qi is that it gathers in energy. It gathers in energy from Gaia, from the earth. It gathers in energy from the stars, the heavens. But it also gathers in energy from beyond the source, the Tao. So standing in that Wu Qi position, you can draw in inspiration. And again, artists within the ancient cultures, within China, in Taoism, that artists would stand in Wu Qi and would stand there for a period of time, and then would come up with this concept and this idea. Now I'll quickly touch on it because it's a fairly big subject itself. But from Wu Qi you have Wu Wei, and Wu Wei is a very often a mistranslated idea or concept. But Wu Wei, at first, it's normally translated as do little and everything is done, which people will hear that, the Wu Wei, and go, oh, that means doing nothing. And it's like, again, no, it's like the Wu Qi. Standing in that Wu Qi position, you look like you're doing nothing, but physically you're optimizing your body health-wise. You're optimizing your body martially. You're sort of allowing yourself all these options because you're ready to move into any position that you need to. It's strengthening the body, and it's allowing energies to come in, not just from if you're sort of seated on the floor, if you're sitting cross-legged on the floor, you're drawing in energy from one particular way, or you're maybe drawing in one or two energies from a particular way. But the Wu Qi position is said to cover all energies, so you cover from heaven, earth, and everywhere in between, and it allows you to pick up energy. And there's the Wu Qi concept, the Wu Qi Qigong side. There's a very particular Wu Qi version that was actually used by ancient Taoists to find the ley lines. So the ley lines of the planet, or the meridians of the planet, were found through a particular Wu Qi positioning, standing. So this Wu Wei concept is more than just do little and everything is done. It's more like the dynamo effect and dynamo. So the dynamo effect, like you have a line of dominoes, a line of little pieces. You set them up, and by pushing one hits the next, which hits the next, and it causes a ripple effect, which can cause many things. Think of the butterfly effect. The butterfly flapping its wings on one side of the planet can cause a hurricane on the other side of the planet. A very, very big concept and idea. So this Wu Wei concept is that from small actions you can create mighty incidents, or you can create mighty things. Mighty things can happen. Marvelous things can happen. So the whole idea of it's doing as minimal as possible to create bigger actions. So the whole concept of Tai Chi, so the martial arts Tai Chi, or the healing system Tai Chi, and Qigong itself works on that Wu Wei principle of, by doing little things, you create big things. So by practicing Tai Chi or Qigong for 15 minutes every single day at least, over a period of time, it can affect your health, it can affect your mindset, it can improve your mood, it can do many, many things. But it all comes from a little bit every single day, or a couple of times every day. So the Wu Wei concept is doing little does mighty. Doing a little bit all the time creates a whole big thing. And the Wu Wei is also this idea, this concept of, rather than trying to, physically move something with just muscle power, when you use the whole body as one, when you connect everything, which goes into Wu Qi, unlimited possibility. So when you use the whole body, which goes into another thing, which we'll talk about another time, which is Fa Jing, which is explosive power. But when you use the whole body as one, you get more energy. You get more, rather than just physically trying to push something with your hand. When you start from your feet and lean the body into it and use the whole body, you actually generate more power. You generate a lot more power, rather than just using the physical body. And I've proven this many times where somebody says, oh, can you give me a hand with the car? Can you get some friends to give me a hand with the car? And I'm pushing the car, and they go, are you on your own? And I say, yeah. And it's like, but my car's heavy, how are you pushing it on your own? Wuchi. What? But it's this concept, when you lean into something, you can actually generate more power. And you'll see this with Tai Chi and Qigong teachers, where they'll get a couple of big burly men to come and push them, and suddenly they're pushing, this tiny little person is pushing these 3 burly men back, and it blows people's minds. How are you doing this? How are you moving that person? It doesn't make sense. But you can generate a lot more energy when you use the whole body. So, and within martial arts and within military arts, so Sun Tzu, or Sun Tzu's, as some people say, which is the art of war, the art of strategy, uses this Wu Wei and the Wu Qi concept of gathering your forces and using them together, combined, can do a lot more. So having a small, in essence, it's the Avengers. You only have a couple of superheroes, but when they work together, they're far more powerful and they can take on a far bigger foe. But when they work individually and they don't work, and they work separately, they're less likely to succeed. So there's this whole idea of unity is strength. Is that when you unify everything, you create a more balanced way of doing stuff. You generate the force, and that whole concept is within Taoism, within healing, within the military martial side, within the philosophy strategy side. Unifying things will make things, when you're working on your own, when there's only one of you, yes, you can do a lot, but it's you could be limited. But when you unify things, when you can gather people together, or just unify yourself and do things in a certain way, do little and everything is done. So rather than trying to desperately do it all right now, wait for that opportune moment, waiting for the moment to strike. Now that Wu Wei concept within art, there has been a couple of artists that have had a block of clay or a block of marble, and they would stand there for hours just staring at that marble. There's a certain artist in the past, people said, what are you doing? I said, I'm waiting for the art to reveal itself. And so they're looking for what's going to be revealed. And within bonsai, the baby trees of both China do bonsai and Japan as well. And the Taoist way of the bonsai is rather than trying to control and manipulate and using wire and bending it into your will, is that you allow the nature of what the tree wants to be, you allow it to show you, and then you just clip away what you no longer need. You remove what you no longer need. So the idea for me within healing, so when I do Shundao massage, which is its own family system, when I'm massaging the person, I'm listening to the body. I'm listening to where the issues are, and I'm not judging anything. I'm not saying, oh, that's bad or that's good. I'm just literally listening. I'm listening to observing what's going on. And in Qigong, the Wu Wei concept is the same. Is you just listen to the body. Don't judge. Don't determine, oh, it's this or it's that. Just allow the body to reveal the information. And when it reveals that information, you can then go from there. So, from the Wu Qi, that all possibilities, listening, observing all possibilities that are happening. And then the Wu Wei, you find the right opportunity to do what needs to be done. So, this is one of these concepts that I could quite easily talk for a long time. But But sometimes it's actually better. Or I find often the Saturday shows where it's just me, they tend to be, 25, 30 minutes long. They don't go on. But when there's somebody else, then they can go on for a long time. But because there's interaction, and I do work best with interaction. So if this topic of Wu Qi and Wu Wei, if you've got questions, write to me, message me, even call me, and or maybe we could set up another show where you and I do a show on it and we can talk about it and you can ask me questions, and then that allows me to delve into it deeper. So if that interests you, you can find me on Facebook under The Way of Conscious Mindfulness Network. Oh, see, real world, that's the washing machine telling me it's done. I'll go and do that in a minute. Woo way. But yes, so you can find me on Facebook on The Way of Conscious Mindfulness Network. You can find me on Instagram under sifu.boggy. You can find me on YouTube under Sifu Boggy. You can also find me on LinkedIn under, I think it's Paul Sifu Boggy Brighton. And, if you have something that you want to talk about, you want to ask a question, message me. You can also, I almost forgot, you can also find me on Spotify. Maybe you're listening to me right now on Spotify, or you're seeing the video version on YouTube. But I'm on Spotify under The Way of Conscious Mindfulness and or Sifu Boggy. You can find me both those ways. And you can find me on the awesome, the amazing www.bringmetolife.com, where I am on their podcast system as well. And yeah, if you have any questions either about the Wu Qi, the Wu Wei, or something else, why not drop me a line? Why not let me know? I also teach Qigong and both Reiki, the Eastern version of Reiki. The Western version of Reiki has its own style, but the Eastern version of Reiki actually uses Qigong. It actually uses called Hatsu Ho or Qigong. But there's a Chinese version of Reiki as well called Shun Qi Shen, and that uses Qigong to energize the person to be able to get them to heal. In America, they normally called Qigong healers. So I teach Qigong, I teach Reiki, I teach self-healing techniques. I also do Taoist life coaching philosophy. So I do one-to-one healing if you're interested, but I like teaching people to help themselves, because that's my goal, is to help you help yourself. So if you're interested in any of this, then you can look me up on www.patreon.com/Sifu Boggy. Sifu Boggy, just put that in, you'll find something. And you'll find the Shundao School, where we teach the Qigong, we teach different techniques, whether you're just doing it for your own personal health, whether you're a healing practitioner or a life coach and you want to boost your energy, supercharge yourself and never burn out. That can be learned from the Qigong, and that can be learned from the different techniques. If you want to learn to be a Sifu under the Shundao School, come and find me there. If you want to learn to be a dragon dog shaman, which is one of my skill sets, you can learn that there on Shundao School. So one more time, Patreon. So patreon.com/Sifu Boggy. So that's it really. Like I say, these tend to be a little bit shorter when it's just me. And the whole concept of this was all about the Wu Qi, the circle, the sphere, and so much more. And also then delving a little bit into the Wu Wei concept. So I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, whether I see you on the Monday for the interview shows, or I see you next Saturday on Sit Down with Sifu on a Saturday. Hello, Saturday. Whichever one I see you, or wherever I see you next, take care. Bye for now. Love, Qi, and Shen, Sifu Boggy. And remember, Open up your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness.